Detective Comics 969, James Tynion the fourth writing, Joe Bennett on art. This is the beginning of the Fall of the Batman arc, and we start off with kind of the reunion of Steph and Tim, which we knew had to be coming. We were kind of waiting for it. And that's kind of there, and then there's a 3-week jump, and then we kind of set up what we're actually doing with the arc as a more whole, which would probably be my one complaint. I think the structure of the book is a little bit weird because of it.
Yeah,
it moves a little bit too fast.
Yeah. Also, go on.
Go ahead.
Someone has to go.
I was just saying, like even the very first page is this interview with the mayor, and it seems like it just seems strange because he's talking about how, oh no, there's too many bats now. They're militarized. This has got to stop. And I'm like, there's been this many for ages.
For a while.
This and he's talking like it's a really recent development.
To be fair, I will stand up for that a lot because it seems like it's just becoming more public knowledge. Like, up until now, it's been kind of in the shadows and hidden kind of thing.
Yeah, there was a line though where, let me see if I can find it. I'm sure it says like we weren't even sure that they existed. Yeah. Yeah, it's talking about the whole. There's a group here. We don't have proof that they exist, and it's like, okay, it seems weird.
Well, he does have proof. We even see that later on. He does have proof. This is just political spin. He's just covering his ass, basically. Yeah. But we have Steph at the Arkham Asylum talking to Anarchy. He's still trying to convince her, hey, the victim said it was a good idea, and she runs into Clayface, who's there visiting Mudface. That's a weird sentence to say out loud. But yeah, she's like leaving the house, and like, Tim has his big entrance, and they have the big full page spread with a kiss, and he's like, hey, I still want to save the world before we run off to university and stuff. How about we do that together? And she's kind of reluctant, but she says okay. And we actually know, and especially from later in the book, that Tim's kind of changed his mind about all this. He's more like dead set on his bat path as ever because of what he's seen, because he wants to like, make sure it doesn't turn out the way it did. Because I think a smart thing he does here is he kind of has the idea that maybe the reason why it went bad is because he was trying to resist it so much before. Whereas if he embraces it and tries to actually
mold it into something good, instead of just kind of, if he's forced into it reluctantly, and then he'll be resentful about it.
So as much as I do think this time jump's a bit weird, and I do think it makes the first little chunk feel really disconnected from the rest of the book, I do actually really enjoy the rest of it. In particular, the idea that because of there's like all these bats and they're in a group, the Gotham Knights exist. Killer Moth is trying to recruit villains to like form a union against them, which is kind of marvelous. As Batwoman points out, Ratcatcher's even there.
If he's showing up, things are desperate because he likes being in these groups.
The only ones that really seem like they're from proper villains is you got the Riddler girls.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing they point out is like none of the actual villains showed up. So you've got like all these like henchmen who like represent various villains. Yeah, and I just thought that was really funny. By the way, is that Firefly? The one next to Killer Moth and the big...
It seemed like it, but I wasn't 100% sure.
There's no wings, so I'm not really sure, but I don't know who it is.
It does look like him, though, doesn't it?
Yeah. Obviously, you've got Zaz there, you've got Grundy behind him, which is a really nice big reveal when they're like, wait, how did you even get Grundy? And and he starts talking, it's like, wait, Grundy can't speak properly, and then it turns out to be Clayface. And he even has a McCoy moment from Star Trek. He's like, I'm an actor, not a poet, damn it.
Yeah, which... I really liked the moment, but I thought the art undermined it a little bit. I think his Clayface looks really strange. It looks really smooth and clean.
Too rounded.
It does, yeah. I really like that full page spread where it's all them together, and Moth is like, no, and Tim's like, hey, you know what? It was a good idea. But when we're stopping you, but it was a good idea.
It was a good idea. You're
Yeah.
I like that. It is undermined because Clayface is obviously such a big presence on the page because he's so big.
Yeah, I like what the page is doing, but yeah, Clayface looks kind of weird.
Yeah,
I agree with that. Oh, let's not gloss over the fact that Batwoman and Tim have this kind of moment, like they're just kind of talking on the roof about how he shouldn't lie to Steph about what he's going to do with his life. And what I thought was really fascinating about this conversation for me was the idea that because of what they kind of know that the possible future is, the idea that they're kind of close and are like kind of like keeping an eye on each other is kind of a nice little idea where. Like, yeah, like we don't want to turn into that thing where I'm a dictator and I'm hunting you and you're this asshole Batman. So it's almost like they're making a point of being friendlier and trying to be part of each other's lives to stop that from progressing to that point. I kind of like that as an idea.
Yeah.
I just feel so bad for Steph, just because like people are just honest with her, like she just I feel she sets herself up,
But that's kind of Kate's point though, isn't it? It's like, well, you've got to just tell her because otherwise this is going to get worse.
Yeah, I don't think it's Steph's fault. I think it's Tim's fault here.
I'm not saying it's Steph's fault. She wants the best for Tim. That's why she wants him to go off to school and not be fighting crime all the whole time. And and then the whole stuff with Anarchy, where she's sympathetic to his cause, just not maybe his methods. And it shows that she goes to visit him in jail. So he's not a traditional villain in that way. You don't ever really see Batman go visit people in Arkham.
Not unless it's to interrogate them.
Right. It's not a friendly visit.
He's not going there just to talk,
Unless Selena's there, in which case it's a conjugal, in which case he's quite excited. Brings in his Bat Rose and his Bat Platter and his Bat bottle of wine. Yeah, take it, Matt. So Batman goes to see the mayor. I do actually kind of like what this is setting up from a plot point, is the idea that like having all these Bat characters running around is actually starting to be kind of an issue politically, where like they're having this dispute, especially since this whole plot is going to be about the victim syndicate trying to take down the Gotham Knights. I like the whole idea of what the image of this Bat family is to the city is also playing into it. I think that's a cool touch.
I always like when Gotham's kind of at odds with Batman too. I mean, it's cool that he has Gordon on his side, but I like when there's a more antagonistic, I can't talk today, relationship between them. That was kind of the crux of Gotham Central. They were like, he's just getting in our way. Like we could do our job. We don't need him to do our job for us. And so I hope that's kind of what it.
My favourite part of Gotham Central was actually the fact that sometimes they had to accept that they couldn't do the job and they had to call him in, and they hated the fact that they had to call him in. Like that was a really interesting kind of way of looking at it. So the book ends actually with the victim syndicate has been. The guards are in this. There's some guards at Arkham who are helping them. And Victim Syndicate's got the entire, the first victim has a Victim Syndicate with them, and Anarchy, who's now joined the ranks, and like, okay, it's time, we're going to, the Batmen are going to fall, and it's going to be one of their own that's their undoing, which is implying Steph, but I'm not sure, maybe there'll be a swerve.
Yeah, the obvious implication is it's talking about Kate, because that's what we've been setting up.
Yeah.
So, they'll fall at the hands of one of their own, and I wonder if maybe their plan is, maybe like, okay, Kate, maybe Tim tries to stop Kate and it goes wrong.
Yeah, maybe that starts this rift, possibly. Which is upsetting, because I don't like the idea that we're going to break up this this team dynamic that we've got.
We've only just got them all back together.
Yeah. So I hope they come out stronger on the other end. Like, I hope that's kind of... Like, they get pushed to the worst possible place, but then they come out stronger. I hope that's where it's going.
So here's the thing. Last time we saw Mudface in Anarchy, they were in Arkham, right?
Yeah.
Yet they're here at the end.
This is Arkham,
right?
Yeah, they're breaking them out of Arkham, aren't they?
Yeah,
I know. So what's with the police guys dressing up the first victim?
The Arkham guards.
That's what I just said. That they're helping them for some reason.
Right. So did any of them have like a mind control thing?
Not that we know of.
Not mind control, but this could just be a way of showing us that they have supporters. There's some people who are anti-Bat.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like there's something more going on with... I feel like the first victim is someone within Arkham. Like,
could be.
a higher up or something. Yeah. Because this is what struck me here is, they don't make it like this. They make it this big deal that they're dressing him, Yeah,
they're not just letting him out. They're serving him.
They're properly serving him. So, and the fact that they're all suited up within. So I feel like they're going to turn Arkham into their own, because that fits in with their mission statement.
Yeah,
these are all people that have been hurt by Batman. So I thought that was really interesting that the cops were dressing him, and I had to go back and look that there were cops and not like orderlies.
I kind of took it as like he like while he's been inside, he's like turned people. He's like convinced them of his mission, and he's like sort of spoken into their ear and whispered away at them and kind of led to this. But I don't know, we'll find out. I assume we'll go there with it. I like the issue quite a bit. I do think the first chunk feels weirdly structured, and is a wee bit odd. I think the art is very mixed, but I like what it's doing in terms of plot. I like what it's doing in terms of what it's setting up.
Yeah, in terms of, like, you talk about the weird structure, I like all the parts individually.
Yeah.
It just doesn't flow.
No. Absolutely, yeah. It feels kind of like that first part with Steph should have maybe been on the end of an issue, like last time. And then we should have started kind of
the rest
of it
I'm
here.
with you.
But I like everything that's doing. I like what it's setting up. Because I really, especially that scene with the attempted organization of the criminals. I really enjoyed that scene especially, and I like the Victim Syndicate. So I like that they're back in play.
Yeah, I like that they're a big part of this.
Yeah. Because it makes the whole run feel like it's been kind of working together and building to something.
Yeah, it has done recently as well with, just because obviously Tim left at the end of the first arc and now Tim's back. So that kind of naturally feels that way. But now we're going, okay, Victim Syndicate, that was like the second arc, I think.
Yeah, second or third. So it was
back so that's kind of, again, it's kind of working back through.